We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. It's been a minute. I've gone to -15 South Korea, and now I'm back in +30 Bali, Indonesia. So quite a spectrum. Sorry, I haven't been around to make videos, but I have been very active in the Discord. If you guys aren't already in the Discord, definitely scan that QR code popping on the screen right now. Got to get that iced coffee in. Yeah, man, what an insane few weeks for precious metals. We're going to dive into gold. I want to take a look at silver. And of course, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin and the broader cryptocurrency market. There's a reason I'm talking about gold and silver today. Nobody wants to talk about crypto. So we got to keep on topic. We got to give the people what they want, and they want to know, why did silver fall 40%? Why is gold falling? Is it manipulation? What's going on in the market? And then we'll tie that all back into Bitcoin in the end. So let me know where you guys joining in from. Welcome into the chat. It's good to see you all. It's good to be back live, up and running. I've also got a special announcement for those who are wanting to earn a passive income. We're going to talk about that at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. Could be a good opportunity for those that, you know, just want a distraction from trading and just want to farm some tether from the exchanges. So we'll get into that as well. Let me know how my audio is coming in. I'm using a new microphone, very small microphone, popular microphone, but let me know if it sounds like shit. And the image looks great. I'm using a different lens, different camera. Same camera, different lens, just different look. Gives it quite a nice Balinese aesthetic. All right, enough chit chat, enough gobbledygook. What the fuck is going on with silver? Let's take a look. Pardon my French. Sorry to those younger ones in the audience who are watching. You shouldn't be watching. I am not for children. But anyways, let's take a look at the silver chart. Man, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Hello from, or we'll just catch up with the chat real quick. We got Nadimra, welcome from Norway. Hello. I've never been to Norway, but it looks absolutely stunning, beautiful. B-Man, you've been missed from New Zealand. B-Man, you're in the group, man. We haven't missed each other. We're hanging out in the private Discord, but it's good to see you here in the chat. Blessed 101, welcome in from Boston. Awesome to see you. Cairns, Australia, bloody hot. Yeah, Cairns, is it Cairns? I think I'm right. It's Cairns. That one always, when I see it, obviously, I'm sure you get it all the time. People want to call it Carnes or Cairns. Good. All right. Okay. So, my God, let's measure this move. Silver taking a dump. Is it over? Is it manipulation? We're going to get into all of that. So let's first just pull it from tip to tip. It happened so fast. This is a daily candle, by the way. This daily candle from open to close was negative 26.3% in one of the largest assets in the world. 26.3% in one daily candle. I don't think it should come as a surprise to anybody that the silver market was very, very overheated. I was on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Twitter. Every second post, didn't matter what social media platform I was looking at, every second post was about silver or related to the debasement trade in some way. It's not surprising to see the spreads get so severe. So for those who don't know, people here, let's clear the air. We got a 40% pullback from tip to tip. All right, that's been established. People seem to think that this means people are selling. And although that is true, they're always selling. They're always selling. For you to have the ability to buy silver, you have to buy it from someone who's selling it. Okay? So, you know, saying, oh, they're dumping massive amounts of silver. No, they're not. It's just you ran out of buyers. You ran out of buyers that were willing to pay for such extreme levels. And you you had too many people that were willing to sell at this crate. Like everybody was selling. Everybody was willing to be a seller at the price that we were at. And there's a difference there. There's a difference. A willingness to sell means that there's a lot of people willing to sell. And the price spreads are just more vulnerable to the downside than they are to the upside. You have less and less people willing to pay over $120 per ounce of silver. So it became, the order book became thin on top and the spreads were thick on the bottom, not the order book, but the spreads. The price discrepancies between the orders were wider on the downside than they were on the upside, meaning that the supply was greater than the demand, okay? But anytime someone sells, someone's buying. And anytime someone buys, someone's selling. So saying, oh, you know, a couple trillions of dollars was sold. Yes, a couple $1 trillion were sold. And in order for those trillions of dollars to sell, trillions of dollars were bought as well. So price is separate from capital flow. But what does this mean? What are we looking at for a technical point of view? Well, we need a cool off. Is this trade done? In my opinion, no. The silver trade is not done. It's done for now, though. It's done for now. We are not going to see this type of environment probably for a few months, in my opinion. So, you know, chill out. It's probably going to come for a bounce at this point. Might come in for some sort of a double top situation, come back down. I'm thinking this cluster right here, this area right here will offer good support. I think that there are still many bulls in silver and it's already on a 40% discount. That's plenty of correction for you to re-stimulate the demand side of the trade. So I'm not worried, but you know, the expectations of the herd are that we're gonna, you know, start moving right away. And I just don't see that being the case. You know, this area right here is going to be our demand area. Let's, yeah, let's put a blue fill in there. This is the area of interest. Let's go 100%. All in on blue. So we're probably going to chop around this range for a while. You know, it's at $80. The beginning of the acceleration was at $50 and we're at 80. It's good. It's not 120. You missed your opportunity to sell at 120 if you were a short-term seller here, but it will hit 120 and above again, in my opinion. So it's, you know, that from the technical side, we had a few of these sell indicators come in on the custom alphanumerics indicator. We had a sell signal here at 50. We got another sell signal here at 120. And now we have the lucid SAR. I don't know if you can see those. The lucid SAR points are right here at the top. So you've got two of them here. We've got 2 days at this high. This will go lower. So you'll get a few more dots and then it'll be at a lower price. And then it'll be at a lower price again. And every week that target is going to move down. And what that means is every week it's going to be easier and easier for the bullish bias to flip back to on. Right now you can see that the bullish bias has flipped from green to red. It was green throughout this entire period when we were on a rally. It has just flipped to red, indicating that the bears are back in control. Supply is higher than demand. So we just need to wait for these dots to decline until we can break back above those dots. And then once that occurs, you know, we're back in business. You'll get up to that 120 and above. I wouldn't be surprised to see silver's rally finally conclude above $250 per ounce. If you don't, you know, not financial advice, but if you've been holding silver from sub $20 an ounce, take some chips off the table, my friend. Take some chips off the table at that point. Still buying more silver? Good on you. Someone I know was trying to sell his bits of silver in Florida last week and nowhere would buy it. They just said they were only selling. Exactly. So that's what causes these spreads, right? The liquidity on top was too sticky. You couldn't have people buy up there. The people who are buying en masse were like, no, I'm not paying 120. Sorry, fuck off. Rightfully so. It's in their right to do that. So you had such a thin order book on top that nobody could sell their silver, but you had a ton of people willing to buy at lower prices. So you get that cascading effect to the downside. Price has nothing to do with capital flow. Price is determined between two people coming up with price. Everything in this world is worth as much as somebody is willing to pay for it. If you have something and you are going to sell it, somebody has to buy it at the price that you're wanting to sell it at. And that's as simple as it gets. People get really confused with market cap. They get really confused with, the market cap dropped by, X amount, so X amount exited the system. No, it didn't. It didn't. You'll get a fraction of that actually becoming realized on the market cap. Market cap has nothing to do with price. Price is how you calculate market cap, but market cap has nothing to do with calculating price. What's your whole thoughts on the BIP 110 core debate? I've tuned out. Be fully transparent with you. The whole core knots bullshit. Is core being a good custodian of the Bitcoin ethos? No. Is knots a solution to that? A garage band of like 3 coders to maintain a new instance for Bitcoin software? No. But one thing's for sure, Bitcoin is anti-fragile. Anything that doesn't kill it makes it stronger. Let them fight. Let them fight. I don't care. It will all resolve in the end. All right, let's take a look at gold. So that's silver. What I'm anticipating is a consolidation. We've had our buyer's climax here. We've come down to our automatic reaction. And now we're looking for our automatic rally or our secondary test, however you like to look at it in Wyckoff, and that will set a new trading range. That will chop around in that trading range probably for a couple months. I'm thinking 2-3 months. We'll chop around in that range in the lower half of this blow off top. And then eventually the bid will get strong and we'll break out to higher levels. Now let's take a look at gold, because it's the same story. It's the same story on gold, just less severe because gold is a much more liquid market than silver, but it's the same story. Parabolic rise, massive, massive move. Now, gold, however, from a technical point of view, let's turn the volume off here because it's not giving us much intel. From a technical point of view, gold is still bullish. Gold is still bullish. So we could see a continued strong bid for gold. And silver could get left behind temporarily. To me, this isn't entirely surprising. Gold is much more of an institutionalized asset, whereas silver is much more of a retail asset. Why that's an important distinction to make is retail thinks about prices. Institutions think about allocations. And it's a very different field of thought. A retail investor will say, okay, if I buy X amount of ounces of silver and then they reach X price, I'll have X amount of dollars and I will close X amount of my position and I will be left with X amount of dollars. Like that's how retail traders think. Whereas institutions say, okay, well, we have a portfolio that's heavily weighted in bonds and we've got a security mix over here. We're hedging with our derivatives contracts over here at about 3%. I think the silver trade is a little bit overheated. Why don't we reduce our exposure by about 2%, increase our gold holding by they talk a completely different language. It's about allocations. And why that's important is it's a different speed and it's a different volume. The retail trader is going to move really, really fast. They're going to get in, they're going to get out, they're going to hit their targets, they're going to sell portions, large portions entirely. The institutional investor is just going to hold. So even though we've had kind of this blow off top in gold, in this large correction in gold, that's all retail. That's not institutions. The institutions are not jumping into reallocating their assets, which is why we're still seeing a technical bullish trend on gold as it stands. Silver, you know, we've taken out some of the structure. We're back down in this cluster of the previous resistance. Gold, we're testing above that. Here was the previous resistance. We're well above that, holding on top of the moving averages, holding on top of the bullish control zone and the bullish bias flip. I think gold is in a good position to actually continue to trend, maybe even maintaining above this this trend line. It hasn't gone as silly as silver, so we might see gold do something like this, where it comes down and consolidates, much like I anticipate with silver, but the consolidation will be a bullish one where it's making higher highs and higher lows. So gold looking a lot stronger from a technical and fundamental point of view than silver is, but I'm bullish on both. I'm bullish on both. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for. What the fuck is going on with Bitcoin? Excuse me, pardon my French again. I really got to work on my language here. I know that some people don't like my foul language. Working on it. It's very Canadian to be foul mouth, at least where I'm from. Yeah, Bitcoin. People are going to get triggered by this. I still think we're in the range. People are going to get triggered by that. I don't care. We're in the range. You know, we're between this 80 to 100 to 95K range. This is the range. You've got to have a barrier of deviation both above and below the range. I think that this is a bear trap. People are going to disagree with me. I don't care. I don't care if you disagree with me. We're in a bear trap, and it is what it is. This is kind of how I'm looking at things. You know, we had that bump and run scenario that we were talking about. We broke out of the bump and run. We got the rally that we were expecting, and now we're coming back down and testing the downward sloping line of resistance of the bump and run. It's uncomfortable. I realize that you're not exactly stoked that we're sitting at $77,000 right now. But when you slap a range on this, let's actually do that just to kind of prove the point. Let's put a parallel channel on here. You know, you have a variance both above and below. So if this is the range that was established in phase A of this downtrend and this break of this bump and run pattern, we've got, you know, we allowed price to go nearly $4,000 above the range and still called it a range. We have to give the same grace to the downside. You know, it's $4,000 to the downside. You got to give it that grace. You got to give it that room, especially if by the time this candle closes on the weekly, it's back inside the range. Or I guess it's got to be on the 3-day. Anyways, it's got to come back inside the range. I'm not giving up on this range just yet. I'm not calling this an impulse down. I mean, we were trapped underneath this downward sloping line of resistance. We broke out of it, and now we're testing it. It's really that simple to me. Hang in there. But I mean, I don't even know who I'm speaking to at this point. Everybody's gone. Everybody's given up. It is so bad out there. It is so bad out there. It's worse than FTX. I've lived through FTX. I've lived through the China ban. I've lived through, God, I don't even know, the Celsius unwind. Like, they're all mixing together now. I've seen a lot of really negative sentiment environments in Bitcoin, and this one takes the cake. This one takes the cake, but it's funny. It's funny because, you know, we're only 38% down. I have never seen, like, when FTX came in, when the FTX low came in, man, we were down. We were actually down. I just think people are becoming very weak, and their time preference is just too they have too high of a time preference. Bitcoin's been going too slow for them, and it's been going too slow down. So they're just fed up. And I don't know if this is a reflection of the fact that we're just at the end of a very large macro price cycle. I don't know. I mean, I'm just speculating here, but this was the FTX collapse. It was 74% down. People lost everything. People lost everything. They had a reason to be upset. And they were nowhere near as upset, fed up, and done with crypto as we are with half that amount. I don't know. You know, good times breed weak men. Hard times breed strong men. Strong men breed good times breed strong men or weak men. You know how this cycle goes. Mexican number 1, I'm here. Good on you. Not triggered at all. Finally, someone else sees it. It's not an automatic, but look at the rainbow chart. Yep. We can take a look at the rainbow chart. It's a shakeout of weak hands. Wall Street's famous move is weak him out or wear him out or scare him out. I love that. I haven't actually heard that, Dr. Manhattan. Wear him out or scare him out. It's 100% correct. 2025 was wear him out. Now we're in 2026, scare him out. What Wall Street said. You think Wall Street's coming into this market for a 2x? You think they're coming in and launching this ETF? And now in 2026, we have the Clarity Act coming. Yeah, well, it's kind of gotten all fucked up now, but we have a lot of banks that now have the ability to hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, have the ability to offer Bitcoin products. You think they're coming in right in time for a bear market? No, you're foolish to think so. When moon? I don't know. Well, it's a full moon today, ain't it? It's a bull moon today, ain't it? I don't know. Let's see. Wear them out and scare them out. That's exactly what is going on. I just feel sorry for the people who were in this, right? And they're like, screw this, I'm out. Screw this, I'm out. I'm jumping into silver. And then they jump in here because you know it happened. You know it happened. People got so fed up with Bitcoin. They saw this and they're like, that's it. Silver's the only thing going up. I'm getting into silver. You know this happened. We've been here a long time. We know. And they jumped in here. Boom. Lost half of it instantaneously. Got to be patient, man. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. If you were bullish on Bitcoin at $126,000, nothing has changed except it's gotten fundamentally stronger. There are more products. There are more banks and institutions looking to offer products. There are more developers that have developed more use cases and tools and infrastructure. There's more liquidity on the Lightning Network. There's more liquidity on the Liquid sidechain. There's more users. There's more adoption. The only thing that's changed is that there's more fundamental grounds as to why this thing is undervalued. And now we're here and you don't want to touch it. It's just human nature, man. It's human nature. It never changes. It never will change. The AIs will change it. AIs are going to start buying Bitcoin with Claude Book, Molt Book. You guys hear about Molt Book? Facebook for AIs. And now I just heard from somebody in the group that one of them launched a Bitcoin address and is accepting Bitcoin donations. Who fucking knows? Like, if the people are too scared to buy Bitcoin, maybe the AIs will just start buying Bitcoin. I don't know. I don't know. We're in a crazy time. We are in a crazy, bonkers, nonsensical time. The fact that I'm sitting here on a YouTube channel saying, well, maybe the robots will buy your bags, just shows you how mental the time is right now. So much FUD that Epstein was Satoshi. Oh God, he wishes. He wishes. You know who Satoshi is? What's his face? The gold bug. The gold bug was Satoshi. I'm drawing a blank. Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is Satoshi, man. 100%. It's the ultimate cover. Be the ultimate Bitcoin troll, and then no one will ever suspect. No, in all seriousness, I personally think that Satoshi was Hal Finney. I know people have debunked it, but you know, the behavior of Satoshi around the time that Hal Finney was reducing his exposure to his work and career, it's the behavior of a dying man. And did you guys know that Hal Finney froze himself? He didn't. He's frozen. He expects to wake up in the future to a shit ton of Bitcoin. Hal Finney expects to wake up in like 100 years to a bunch of Bitcoin. It was Hal Finney, man. It was Hal Finney. Put your tinfoil hats on. Let me know what you think. All right. MSTR. MSTR. Ooh, green diamond on the weekly. MSTR. Green diamond on the weekly, sitting on the 200-week simple moving average. MSTR. I'm not a stock guy. Full stop. I'm not going to buy the MSTR stock. I might buy the token derivative of MSTR from a centralized trading crypto exchange. I'm not a stock guy. That doesn't mean that this is not a good stock to buy. You know, ever since MSTR came out, I've kind of been like, what's the point? Fuck MSTR. It's stupid. You know, just buy Bitcoin. MSTR is looking good. I'm not going to lie. If you are an MSTR bull out there right now, it's looking like a buy. It is looking like a buy. Look at the deviation. Okay. For our MACD fans out there, moving average convergence and divergence, MACD. We're not looking at the MACD. We're just looking at the moving average convergence and divergence manually. Look at this divergence. Look at how far the fast moving average is compared to the slow moving averages. Look at this massive gap. Look at this gap. Huge, huge, huge divergence. It is so undervalued. It's going to have a whip back. You know, look at the divergence here. When the fast moving average gets away from the slow moving averages, it whips back and hits, you know, comes back to the averages. Again, it diverges away from the averages, it whips back, comes back to the averages. Diverges, whips back. Now, massive, massive divergence. It's going to whip back to at least $300 per share. This is just how things work. Like, you can believe me or not, I don't care. So oversold. So oversold. It's a good buy. Shout out to the MSTR bulls out there. That's wild. Go ahead and scan the QR code, guys. Jump into the Discord. We're going to share some more info on a hedging strategy that I've been experimenting with for the better part of 6 weeks now. Actually, what can we show? Can we show anything on that? Yeah, we're like $8,000. So 6 weeks, I'm up $8,600 in this hedging strategy. Now, basically how it works, you're going to have to jump into the Discord to get the full details. And don't get too excited. This is a capital intensive strategy. You're going to need like 15 grand to work this strategy at all, because we're talking about arbitrage here. You need to fund both sides considerably for you to actually extract this liquidity. So this is not for small accounts. This is not for people that don't know what they're doing. And if this is your last like 20 grand, like, this is not for you. But basically what you're doing is you're insuring your Bybit. You're insuring your Bybit trades with a prop trading firm. So we're working with this prop trading. Prop trading, for those who don't know, it's a way for you to purchase large trading accounts for a small amount of money. So this one prop trading firm is selling $100,000 accounts for $600, and they apply very strict rules for you to use that $100,000 account. But we're using it as insurance for our Bybit trading. So basically, when you purchase the account, you use that to hedge $100,000 trade on Bybit, and you're able to extract this discount. Anyways, it's super hard to explain. But definitely jump into the Discord for more information on that. I'm going to be dropping that either today or tomorrow, full details. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have even done this live because I honestly can't explain it properly enough, but the prop trading firm is offering a discount. We are arbitrage trading that discount into our Bybit wallet. That's the easiest way to explain it, and it's not going to get any simpler than that. But you need like 15 grand, 20 grand to do that. That's your money though, by the way. It's not gone. It's just required to do the hedging on both sides. All right. Yeah, what else is there to talk about? There's no point in talking about altcoins. Bitcoin dominance is climbing, slowly but climbing. It's got to round over until we get that, until we take out this low. You know, there's no point in talking about altcoins. And I mean, nobody even wants to talk about Bitcoin. So what are we even bothering talking about altcoins here? It's not an appropriate time for that. But eventually price will roll over, and eventually price will go below 60, and eventually there's going to be a bull market in altcoins and in Bitcoin. I know the vast majority of people think that that is wishful thinking at best, and much more rude language at worst. But listen, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed in this market cycle. It's low leveraged Bitcoin. It buys you BTC, but it's volatile each way. I'm wondering if it's also a leading signal for Bitcoin. I'm wondering that too, now that you mention it. The only reason I think that is because Bitcoin itself, like the hard asset of Bitcoin, has hardcore OG Bitcoiners in it. It has, people who live on a Bitcoin standard that don't give a shit about price in it. And it now has institutionalized allocation in it. Whereas MSTR, not so much. MSTR is much more of a short-term, retail-driven crowd, retail narrative. So its reflexivity on sentiment is going to be so much more extreme. So if MSTR is down, the sentiment is down. That being said, I don't see a recovery in MSTR before a recovery in Bitcoin. I think MSTR needs the retail to be convinced that Bitcoin is okay before people start to gamble. So now that I'm kind of processing through that statement and that thought process, I think no. I still think Bitcoin is more reflexive towards the potential of sentiment, but MSTR would be your confirmation of sentiment. So once Bitcoin catches a bid and convinces people, okay, we're safe, it looks like we're potentially finding a floor here, then that confidence is going to go into MSTR, and then MSTR is going to be a clear reflection of the positive sentiment inside of Bitcoin. So I don't think it's a leading indicator. I think it's a confirmation indicator. Thoughts on BTC gold chart? A few green diamonds recently, and previous green diamonds were superb at marking bottoms. Yeah, we can take a look at that, but we also said that we were going to take a look at the rainbow chart on Bitcoin. Let's pull up the rainbow chart. That's a logarithmic chart. I don't even know what it's called. Rainbow log, something like that. Bitcoin rainbow logarithmic curves. I believe that's one, although it only has 900 users. Let me know what you call it. No, that's not it. That's not it. Bitcoin. Logarithmic growth curves. See, this is the thing. This is the thing. These logarithmic growth curves, like this is obviously an old one, and the old one was tuned to fit, a past cycle, and then the model broke. Like Michael Saylor said, all models, are great until they break, or something like that. I'm butchering what he said, but we're obviously looking at an older one, and it's completely irrelevant at this point. So I'm sure there's a new one where they've made the adjustments, the necessary adjustments for it to fit the bias and fit the narrative. But that's the old one, clearly. Power law corridor. Let's take a look at that. Well, we're still in the power law corridor. And it's saying we get support at 64,000. I don't see it. I really don't. I don't see it personally. But anyways, alts are trash. Yes, but they are trash that people don't understand yet, and people will speculate on. And we can make money on people's foolishness, as sadistic as that sounds. You need to capitalize on the fact, you don't need to, but I would generally capitalize on the fact that I hold the knowledge that people don't understand Bitcoin and therefore think that there are better Bitcoins out there. I'm going to capitalize on that knowledge. I know that people are influenced by narratives, and I know that people have unit bias and don't want to pay $100,000 a coin for Bitcoin. So what are they naturally going to do? They're going to buy XRP, they're going to buy Cardano, they're going to buy Solana, they're going to buy Ethereum, they're going to buy anything that's cheaper than Bitcoin. And they're going to say to themselves, well, if this reaches $1, I'll be a millionaire. Or if this reaches this price, if this turns into, maybe this will hit $100,000 like Bitcoin. And they're missing the point that Bitcoin is not a stock. Bitcoin is not a company. Bitcoin is a communications protocol that transfers value. And the thing about protocols that everybody misses, either through greed or misunderstanding or whatever, or just not wanting to acknowledge this as a fact, is protocols are winner take all. There's nothing special about the email protocol, but I dare you to try and start your own email protocol. Nobody will use it. Why? Because everybody's already using IMAP. They're all using the email protocol that nobody even thinks about. Like, nobody thinks about what protocol they're using for email. It's just the email protocol. This is how we send and receive emails. It's not a thought. People use the DNS protocol without even thinking about it. When they type in the URL for the website that they're going to, nobody thinks about what protocol they're using. It's just, this is how I interact with the internet. And with Bitcoin, it's the same. Nobody thinks, eventually nobody will think about what protocol we're using. They probably won't even think about Bitcoin, really. They'll just know that this is how I transfer value. I do this, this, and the other, and I can transfer value around the world. So we're much, much too early for people to really understand that. So we can capitalize on this misunderstanding by buying altcoins that will catch a bid through a narrative and then sell it to people at a higher price and then buy Bitcoin with it. One good looking alt chart right now is Canon, ticker CC, new layer 1 with a lot of volume. Okay, what else? Somebody wanted to look at something. Oh yeah, the BTC gold chart. So BTC, and let's just change it to gold. we gotta go BTC gold. We'll do tether gold. That's fine. Yeah, it's gnarly. Let's turn alpha metrics on. We got a weekly green diamond, but I don't know. So here's an example of the weekly green diamond here on the gold chart. It did come relative to the low, but still approximately 15% down. So here it is again, relative to the low, and it's currently 15% down. It did have this little event down here, but currently sitting 15% down. It's got a lot of work to do. Gold's very strong right now. So this chart is obviously going to look like shit because Bitcoin is looking like shit in fiat terms. And gold is looking extremely strong in fiat terms. So, but we do have that divergence. You know, Bitcoin is definitely undervalued when compared to other strong assets. So eventually this divergence will correct and we'll get it. We'll catch a bid on Bitcoin. Can I look at the BTC Tide bot chart? And no, too niche for the public sphere. We can look at that in the private chart, in the private group. Looks very different when I look at it. This is Bitcoin gold. Wow, it's Bitcoin Tether gold. I don't know what chart, I don't know what ticker you look at. But it's not spectacular. It's not spectacular. At least not the way I'm looking at it here. All right. Somebody wants to look at a shitcoin called Cannon. Why not? Canton network. I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. We're in a very illiquid market right now. You need to be very careful in an illiquid market. Is this chart going up and to the right? Yes. But it's not liquid. It's not liquid. You do not have volume in the market, period. Like, look at how thin this volume is. Oh, I still got this stupid QR code up. Sorry about that, everybody. Let's bring that back down. The volume is, there's nothing. There's no volume here. It's very, very thin. It's so thin that you can't even see it. It's behind my little disclaimer. Like, there's no volume. So is it going up? Yes, but I'm very suspicious to these types of things because to me, it's probably insiders just creating a little micro narrative. You don't want to end up holding the bags on this. I just don't think it's an appropriate time to be allocating into really small niche altcoins, personally. All right, my iced coffee's done. That must mean that we're done. How long have we been streaming here? 43 minutes. We'll call that good. I think we covered it. Yeah, let's wrap it up here. So back in Bali, I got a decent setup. I should be, producing content a little bit more frequently. Definitely come into the Discord because within the next 48 hours, I'm going to launch a big announcement in regards to that passive income generating system that me, Matt, and a couple other of the private members in the group, we did launch it already to the VIPs. They've been running it, so you can ask for their feedback, but I'm up, $9 grand. Matt's up. He started a few weeks ago. He's already up to $4 grand. It's a really good money-making, passive money generator. It's about 5 to 10 minutes of work per day, just setting up the trades. And then the bot takes care of the rest, hedging out that rebate, that reward from the prop firm. So come take a look. And yeah, that's it. We will see you guys in the next one. Hang in there. I think silver is going to recover. I think gold is going to recover. And I think Bitcoin is going to catch a bid later on this year. So until next time, please trade safe. And don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, do all the things. You're not new to YouTube. And until next time, please.